Hey, Brian. I want to put a video together in case I didn't get a chance to talk through a few things with you. Basically, some stats and some info. Uh, we're looking at basically a tale of two dealerships, right? One's performing fairly well, one not so well. So we're going to take a look at that. First things first, Ford leads so far this month. Wanted to share with you, the leads that you're getting, but not so much closing ratio, but who we're communicating with or who we're talking to at least. And to point that out, you can look at Car Gurus. 32 leads, only one appointment, right? But Cars.com, 44 leads, we've got 11 appointments set off those 44 leads. That tells you that we're talking to these people, we're communicating with those people, we're able to have that conversation. I think that's an important thing to consider when we're looking at leads. Ford Direct, which is a bundle package, basically from your website and from Ford Direct. You can see 81 leads. We've had conversations enough for someone to at least agree to come see us at 40, and then we've had 10 of those appointments show. And we haven't closed a lot of them, though. You can see the close ratio is on the ugly side. TrueCar, same thing, 47 leads. We've had 6 appointments, but none of them have showed up. And, it's just interesting to look at it in that light, how these leads generate a conversation, or at least how we're reaching out, trying to converse with these people. So let's take a look at Honda. So on the Honda side, the same scenario, we want to look at how we're communicating, right? From the manufacturer's website, 19 leads. We've had a good conversation and been able to set 13 appointments. Off of our website, 40 leads, 20 appointments. Good conversation going on. Same thing with TrueCar, 18 appointments set. Now, it's a different thing to talk about, appointments shown, but what I wanted to highlight was we're getting leads, we're making attempts to contact, and we're actually talking to enough people where they agree to come see us here in Milledgeville. So I hope that has some value to it. It does to me. It shows where we're getting some traction. Of course, we got to work on getting people to show up, and then we got to work on trying to sell them a car when they get here. But from a pure lead standpoint, I think it's important to look at that appointments due allows us to see who we're having conversations with and where there's some challenges. All right. So moving along, one of the things I want you to note is, we lean heavily on email, and we shouldn't. It's just a bad crutch. Email is probably the poorest form of communication there is because it's just words, and we depend on people to open them. We depend on people to understand them. We depend on us to be able to compose a good one. And you can see this is their open rate. And this is for the past 30 days. So only, here it is, 31, basically 32% of those emails we send out get opened up. And that's fairly low. That's pretty bad. It's pretty much the industry standard, though. You're not alone in this. It's just that when we think about internet department and internet operations, it's a mistake to think that it's email driven. It really isn't. It's texting, it's the phones, and it's chat. All those are important. And yes, our chat provider, we can send out chat requests to customers. It's got a lot more to it. CarNow does. It allows you the ability to initiate a chat with a customer, invite them to a chat. So those 3 ways of trying to get communication going with a customer is what leads to car deals. So let's see. Next, I want to talk about the Market Master at Ford. I literally just got access like an hour ago, so I pulled out some data to look through real quick. First thing, your pump-in report for the last 90 days. You can see it's Riverside Ford who's doing the majority. He's doing 9 pumped-in sales. Aikens with 7, 5 Star in Warner Robins with 5. So that's your pump in report. It's kind of going to tie into another report here in just a second. But real quickly, Market Master has given us some good data. Darren and I are going to dig through it here now that we've got access and come up with a stronger plan for you to be able to target people and to be able to get people to come in and buy F-150s from the Ford store. Another interesting report, your lost sales by geo or by area. You know, your number one place you're losing sales is right here in Milledgeville. You actually have 3 dealerships that are basically chewing you apart. Little bites here, little bites there. In Eatonton, it's a struggle. You've lost 5. That's you've made 13, but you've lost 11. So the difference is 5. Eatonton is kind of a battleground, I would say. Here in McIntyre, Gordon, and Sparta, it's almost even, but still there's opportunities there. We are selling cars like in McIntyre, but so are other dealers. All right. Now the dominant dealer, this is kind of where it ties it all together. So over here on the left is a color code. Butler Ford is the purple. So that's the dominant dealer in these areas. When you look at the light blue, that's Aikens Ford is the dominant dealer in this area, in your market area. The beige, 5-Star Ford. The green, Riverside Ford. So you can see you got 3 dealerships that are kind of, chewing on you a little bit. And that's going to allow us to come up with a plan to be able to target these customers and try to prevent some of this leakage, if you want to call it, these lost sales. Also, it brings to mind, you have to know people in Milledgeville, they're also looking at other dealerships. So we need to be strong in our own backyard because we've got other dealers that are, again, tearing at us. Now, yes, inventory has a lot to do with it. It really is. But it's not the only thing. If we've got the F-150 on the ground, we need to be super competitive. We need to be really communicating very well with these customers because they've shown they will go other places and buy them. All right, enough of that. Interesting, the facing dealers here in Milledgeville. Now, this is across the year. And so I've got Butler Ford, Toyota, Nissan, and CDJ. I didn't show Honda because we know what that's going to look like. But you can see here you are in the green as we track across the year. Of course, Toyota's retailing a good number of units. You can see some dips and rises in the other dealerships. You can see CDJ is on the upswing. Interesting to note, you look at last September, you're at 56. This September, you ticked up to 57. You might say, oh, that's not a big deal. But if you look at Toyota, last September, they were at 195. This past September, they dropped to 188. Same thing with Honda. They were at 138. They dropped to 115. Nissan was at 104. They too dropped. So here you can see there's a little drop here from the majority of the dealers in town. You in the green were the only one really that had a nice little uptick. So you were able to hold your own in September where some other dealers were facing some headwinds. Now, let's talk a bit about outsell. Now, I'm kind of broken this down into chunks so that we can, kind of understand it and absorb it. I use outsell as like my number one rule. We at dealerships face a lot of turnover, a lot of turmoil, a lot of changes. And so what outsell gives us is a consistent, constant message to our customers. It doesn't matter what's going on at the dealership level. It doesn't matter the changes that are going on. They are continually marketed to. And these customers are broken down into several categories. Early ownership, mid ownership, late ownership, discovery, and then their shopping. What you're seeing here is literally the life cycle of a customer. I got to tell you, this is the long ball, right? This is the long view. This is not short like a mailer. This is something that is going to be continually working year round as the customer moves in and out of the buying cycle. Outsell is there. And I'm going to show you how that works here in just a second. But that's why it's so important for me, for you to understand. I want you to understand that this is the long haul. Yes, people are wanting to buy a car today, but there are people that are in mid-ownership. In a couple of weeks, in a couple of months, they're going to move into that late ownership and then finally into the discovery phase. We want to be top of mind. We want to show them that we're available to help sell them a car. So the next thing we want to, as we kind of drill down, what Outsell does is deliver to customers things that might interest them. And here's just this past month, customers were clicking and looking at internet specials, trade-in value. Those types of customers, right? They're looking to buy a car. Some of them are, pure shopping customers, and each one of these has a different track that they're marketed to depending on what actions they take. You can see a lot of customers were service customers or interested in service. And, you can go, I'm going to go back here and show you, you've got a lot of customers that are in early ownership, mid ownership. Those are really your service customers. But we know we want to retain those service customers and turn them into car buyers again. So that's why you're going to see a lot of service on here, because the majority of your customers are riding around getting their car serviced. We've got customers that are going through and looking at vehicles on our website. So using this data or using these actions, customers are drip marketed to throughout the buying cycle, throughout the life cycle of ownership. And this becomes clear when we look at a customer, right? So just to kind of help you understand this, the newsletter goes out, right? It's nice, it looks nice. I think I've shown it to you before, but a customer will engage with it depending on where they're at. So here's a customer that got the newsletter and they opened it up in March and they read it, right? They opened it again in June, and they also, on reading it, went and looked at special offers. So there's microsites that are built. They're not necessarily on our website, but it's flush with information for customers to consume. They can also go to our website, and many do. And you can see in September, they opened it and they went to the microsite for CRVs, Honda Pilots, and crossovers. And they also visited our website and looked at our new car inventory. And guess what? They came in the next month and they purchased a CRV. So you see, we're there through the entire cycle, depending on where they're at, right? Depending on what they're wanting to do. It's a consistent, constant message that doesn't change no matter what's happening at our level, at the store level. We still have a voice. We still have a way to communicate to our customers, and Outsell does that better than anyone else. I think that's about it for now. Listen, I appreciate it. Have a great day.